A months-long investigation led to $1 million in settlement money for a towing company and drivers. Wyatt's Towing was ordered to make a payout for illegally towing cars and charging unlawful fees. This week, we learned that company has been sold.
Yeah, the Colorado Attorney General's office confirmed that Wyatt's Towing notified them about a change in ownership earlier this year. And calls now to Wyatt's Towing are being forwarded directly to a company named Elite Towing. So what does that mean? What happens now? Our 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor joins us for more. So I guess it depends on the terms of the settlement and all, but it's not as simple as we're going to change our name. That's not us anymore.
No, it's not that simple, because that's how people would avoid these kind of liabilities, is to just change the name.
Yeah.
But no, there's a couple things. There's something called successor liability, which essentially says, hey, if you sell this, whoever buys it is now also going to be liable.
They're on the hook.
Yes, exactly.
That's a towing joke.
That was a good one, Tom.
Way over
I have a lot
my
of
head.
towing jokes.
Yes, he's so good. Hard-hitting stuff.
So the people, this was viewed as predatory. Wasn't the word?
Yeah, predatory towing, essentially.
Yeah, because they would like call, and then they were in line with some of these businesses, and boy, the car would be there for a minute and it's towed.
Yeah.
So how does somebody find out if they're a part of this? Do they usually get an email?
Yeah, in this case, so this was a settlement. So what happened was all of the things you said. There were these allegations of essentially predatory towing, and then AG, Attorney General Phil Weiser, got involved, and it launched this investigation. And as part of this investigation, they have this $1 million settlement. And so as part of that, there's going to be, I think, about 5,000 people who were notified that, hey, you were charged improperly, you have this refund coming, you don't need to do anything further. So if you think you may be in that group and you should be entitled to something, you can contact the Attorney General's office, or even just Google who's involved with the lawsuit, because there's also a lawsuit going on.
That's an average, I think, of about $200 a person, if those numbers add up. In my head, I was doing this. 5,000?
About 5,000.
Yeah, so about $200 each. And if you find them all, but if only 6 people, I mean, is $1 million going out no matter how many there are, or it's going to go to those 5,000 or so claimants?
No, so the million, there were 236,000 of it was fees that they were going to waive. So that they were owed debts that they were owed, but they were owed improperly. So those have been kind of washed off the books. And then there was about 750,000 that was going to go back to previous
people who had paid.
That's exactly right. And the reason this even came up was the Public Utilities Commission usually only gets a certain amount of complaints every year, I think around 400 or 500. Over the last couple of years, they were getting over 900, and the majority of them were Wyatt's.
So Wyatt has to come up with this money.
It changed some laws too, right? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It changed legislatively. We changed some things.
Because when they originally started this investigation and there were lawsuits, it was based on the Colorado's consumer protection laws. Well, now during this investigation, and because of this and other sort of predatory towing, they came up with the Towing Bill of Rights. And so that gives, so for example, they can't just come tow your car out of a residential area, unless there's some modified exceptions there. And there's other things they can't do. They can't tow because of an expired license plate unless they have a court order. So there's a number of things that they can't do, and Wyatt's had violated that Towing Bill of Rights even after it came out, before the settlement, which led to the terms of the settlement.
Is there any appeal left, or does Wyatt's now have to write that check?
No, so they're going to be on the hook now. So what they did is they I meant to do
You
that.
went in.
Yes. That was part of the voluntary settlement. And so yeah, now they're on the hook. And if they don't comply with the terms of the settlement, and this is any lawsuit, when you enter into a settlement agreement, now you have a contractual agreement. So if they don't follow through on the terms, now the plaintiffs will have a breach of contract claim based on violating the settlement.
So changing the company is like not really making that big a difference, but they probably just don't want anything with the name Wyatt's Towing.
That could be it, and they could have sold. I mean, now with these new laws, it may be more difficult to make money the way that they were making money. So they may say, hey, we were out, you were exactly right, it could be because of the name, but there is something called successor liability, and then there's the integrated employer theory, which says if you're still the same owners and managers, you're still going to be on the hook, even if you just change the name.
Change the logo or something like
Yeah.
that. We'll follow it. Thanks, Whitney.
All
Always
right.
good to see you.
Sure, good to see you.
Got any more one-liners? No more puns on that? On
Just
the
the
hook?
one thing that really ruined it for me is I was going to open a predatory towing business
Oh,
and
sorry.
call it predatory towing, but now it's illegal, so I can't do it.
Okay, yes.